Namaste and welcome to another bicycle live stream. And it is Saturday the 3rd of August at 7 a.m, spot on 7 a.m. A nice crisp 12.7 degrees and I've ridden 25 kilometres. And it's shaping up to be a good morning and hopefully a really good weekend. So this morning's topic is, let me start by asking you a question. Would you like peace in your life? Would you, peace being a component of the love that we all desire, would you like to be able to work with a technique that enables you to find that peace and to bring that peace into your life, especially in challenging situations when things aren't going your way and when you're finding yourself in a point of anger or frustration or maybe depression or resentment or any of the thoughts and feelings that don't bring us peace. And remember, they are our thoughts and feelings, they are our own. Whenever we're in a state like that, even though we may not acknowledge it at the time, we would like to come back to a point of peace and, bring that in as a constant in our life. So this morning's topic is called Finding Peace on the Path of Least Resistance. Now, the path of least resistance, Bella Moore, thank you for watching. The path of least resistance is actually a spiritual technique following the path of least resistance. And it is a compassionate technique, a compassionate path that helps us reconnect with the compassion in our heart. Good morning, Bella Moore. Thank you again for watching and thank you for saying good morning. So, the path of least resistance is designed to bring us back to a point of peace by connecting with wisdom that helps us realize what we are capable of and what is also, in other words, what's under our control, and also what might be something that's as a contributor to a state of not being at peace. I'm going up a hill. Thank you, Matt, for watching. Thank you, Lisa, for watching. So let me maybe tell a little story. Maybe I discovered many decades ago the power of the path of least resistance. I discovered it when I was in my 20s and have watched it for decades, for the 3 decades since. I've watched my ability to be on the path of least resistance, and sometimes it's very strong and sometimes it's not. And I've looked at it in others and I've seen the stress that we bring upon ourselves, both myself and others. We bring it upon ourselves individually when we don't follow the path of least resistance. And so it's a spiritual path, and there is a very easy technique to following it, but one which is sometimes difficult to remember to do. So the path of least resistance comes from an understanding, comes from an awareness, it comes from see if I can find the right adjectives here, an appreciation of universal power and universal control. It comes from an understanding that everything will happen the way it is meant to happen, irregardless of our own desires, of our own wishes, of our own power, of anything to do with us. The path of least resistance connects in with this understanding that in any situation where there is, say, a challenge facing us or a decision to be made, we have a choice of either acknowledging universal power, universal control, and acknowledging its wisdom to be guiding us in the right direction, even when it's painful, even when it seems completely incorrect, even when it goes against all our wishes. Matt says, hey, yeah, another one of your life lessons, Mr. Harry. I don't like your life lessons. I love them. Morning, by the way, bro. Thank you for your encouragement and support, Matt. I appreciate it, really appreciate it, and always look forward to it. And blessings to you. I hope you're having a great day and continue to have a great weekend. So, by acknowledging, by shifting our mindset to a mindset of appreciation of the majesty of universal power and universal control, what we do is we move ourselves automatically away from this desire to try and force the outcome ourselves. We don't have the power to force any outcome that is not destined to be. We can cry and scream and yell and threaten. We can try manipulation, emotional blackmail, all the tricks in the book, but it doesn't make a difference when universal power has a path chosen for you and for me, and that is the path that will take place. So, when we understand that's the process that occurs in life, when we see that repeatedly as what is happening, we actually then can do one of two things. We can continue to use our energy to fight against it, and in that fighting against it, we actually become frustrated because we're not getting what we think we need for our highest good. We can become angry, bitter, sad. We can become so many things because the universe is not giving me what I want. Unknowingly, we are not aware of the full extent of the plans for us and for all living beings. We will never be aware of these plans. It's not in our agenda. We cannot be aware of it. We cannot hold that sort of power in our mind. But we can acknowledge that the universe is aware of it, and we can acknowledge that everything that is happening is for our highest good. This acknowledgement is called wisdom, and when we have this wisdom, when we have this acceptance, then we have entered the path of least resistance. We have acknowledged that we are no longer going to fight against what is happening in our life. We are going to acknowledge that by surrendering, by letting go, we are finding an immense inner peace that is driving us forward. We are finding a satisfaction. It is not necessarily in the direction at all that we want it to go, but it's all I can say is you have to experience the amazing feeling of letting go to know what I'm talking about. You have to experience it. I first experienced it in my 20s, and I still profoundly remember the feeling of letting go and letting God. The feeling of surrendering to the process which is perfectly planned for us. And that is what we see in the world around us when we look in our own lives and the lives of others around us. We see a world full of people struggling against universe's wishes for us. And it is that struggle that brings the stress and the depression and the pain and just all the, if only, people say, if only things had gone the way that I wanted, It's like, yes, but they're not meant to. So it doesn't mean we just let things wash over us without, it doesn't mean we let go of our responsibility to be compassionate people. We still do that. And it doesn't mean that we let go of our boundaries and our morals and our ethics. We still hang on to all of these things, but we acknowledge there is a grander process in place that we do not and will never understand, and that's okay. We don't have to understand it. We just have to know that it is the way it is meant to be. It always has been, it always will be. And that is the process. The wisest thing you can do is let go, let God, and release that need to control, surrender that need to control, and enter the path of least resistance. When you do it, you will find the peace that is eluding you, and it is the most profoundly beautiful experience. Matt says, 110%, I've well and truly learnt the lesson that we must trust the universe. Ah, fantastic, Matt. That pleases me greatly to hear that. It's a lesson that is relearnt every day, Matt, because we're always being challenged. So this is an ongoing lesson and something that we need a reminder of all the time, myself included, especially in recent times when I've been struggling against the universe's wishes again, looking at a future that I had planned that has become extremely unlikely. So, you know, after a few weeks of struggling against that, I've had to acknowledge that things have changed direction, whether I want them to or not, and I can either be bitter and depressed and angry about it, or I can say, hey universe, you know what's going on, you know there's a reason why things have to be the way they are, it is for the highest good of all concerned, and I surrender and let go to that process. So it's a beautiful thing to be able to do that. I hope that if you're watching this, that you can get a little taste of that, and you will find a peace in that surrender and that letting go. So I hope you have a great day, great weekend. Remember to live vegan and save lives, and I'll speak to you soon. Ahimsa.